Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Camille, also known as Glam Cam, and I'm bringing you guys this video of how I prepped and installed this lace front wig that I got from Nadula Hair. And I'm going to be showing you guys the instant from the beginning of me taking it out of the package to the end when I put it on my head. So this is the Nadula package. I am a paying customer. This is how I got the wig once I purchased it. This is an 18-inch curly lace front 13x6 lace front wig. I believe it was 50% density. I do not ever advise you to get 150% density or less. Always 180 and up because the wig will be thin, girl. But this is how it's looking. It came with baby hairs. It did not come pre-plugged. The curls were kind of stretched looking and they were kind of bent at the ends. Like I said, I was a paying customer. I don't know if they make their wigs look better for people that are sponsored, but this is just how it's looking. I wasn't really too mad. I was just kind of like, okay. But yeah, so this is how it's looking. I'm showing you guys the lace, the inside of the wigs. It came with some clips, and and it did come with the stock cap that it came with and a little elastic band to sew on. So I'm gonna start with prepping this wig by bleaching the knots, and I'm gonna be using 40 developer and this blue bleach, and I'm just gonna be showing you guys the tools that I use. I actually did have to go in, full disclosure, I had to go in and bleach these knots twice. The knots were so hard to bleach, and I do not advise using this brush. Please try to use like a plastic spoon, the back of a plastic spoon, or a knife to actually get the bleach into the knots, because they'll touch the lace but they won't touch the knots, and the knots will not bleach, so it'll be like pointless. So I do not advise using this brush. Sorry, I put it in the video because that is what I recorded. But you want to get your bleach to this consistency where it's like an icing toothpaste type of consistency. It doesn't drip and it's nice and thick, so it doesn't really seep into the hair, but it does get on the knots. So yeah, I'm just going to show you guys how I spread the bleach on the lace. And it's pretty straightforward. In the case of me using a spoon, I would use the rounded back part of the spoon to push the bleach into the knots. And of course, you may endure some of it getting on the roots of the hair, but I'm going to show you guys how to fix that as well. Just keep on watching. And yeah, so I'm just going to spread this bleach on the lace, and I'm going to keep it on there for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to rinse it off. Also, I just want to let you guys know that you should always use gloves when dealing with bleach. I don't know why I thought I could just go ahead and do this without gloves, but please use plastic latex gloves when you're handling bleach. The stuff can get on your fingers and it will burn. You don't want to endure that, so definitely don't take my advice and use gloves. So this is how it's looking when I've spread it all of the bleach on the lace, and now I'm about to rinse it out. After about 30 minutes here, I am rinsing it out. I'm using Shimmer Lights toner shampoo, and that is just to make sure that the roots or the lace does not look that brassy orange color. You get a nice little scalp yellow color. So anyway, I'm checking the knots to see if they actually bleached. At that point they had not, but I was just going to continue rinsing it out. So you want to spread the shampoo on the lace and not really rub it in, because you want to use the purpleness of the shampoo to tone the lace, and then you can lather it up and wash out the bleach once it's toned. So this is how the knots are looking. And then I'm going to go in with my favorite Aussie Miracle Moist conditioner to condition the wig. I always use Aussie for my real hair as well as my wigs. It always makes my hair silky smooth. And now I'm going to start pushing the front of the lace back. As you can see, I'm trying to expose the hairline, so I'm going to push the hair back. And as you can see, this hair kind of did shed a little, so I was a little worried about that. I don't know if it's because I bleached it twice or what, but it did. And that was the first time I bleached it, so I really shouldn't have endured some shedding like I did. But anyway, sorry guys, showing you guys how the lace looks before it's pre-plucked. And now I'm going to go in with plucking the lace front just to make it look more realistic. It was just very dense. It's looking like, them opera wigs, you know what I'm talking about. So I wanted to give it a more realistic, just natural hairline look. So I start in sections. I do the hair in 3 sections, the 2 sides and then the middle. And I just start by plucking the front of the hairline just a little bit, just give it a little bit of a jagged look. You don't want to pluck the very front of the hairline too much, because it just recedes the hairline. So I'm just going to show you guys briefly and quickly how I go about plucking my lace fronts. I will give you another in-depth video on all of these steps, but I just want to show you a speed through of how I in general prep my wig. So I part and then I pluck, I part and then I pluck, and I do that about 3 to 5 times, and then I always go back and check just to make sure that I don't pluck too much. So yeah, I'm just going to show you guys how I do that. So this is how it's looking when I'm pretty much done with that side. I kind of a little bit over plucked, but it looks natural, so I'm not even gonna trip. And this is how it looks before plucking, just showing you guys a before and after. It's giving real, it's giving realness. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that all over the head, and I'm gonna show you guys how it looks when it's done. So this is how it's looking when I've plucked all of the hairline. I try not to pluck too much because you have to be aware of that, otherwise you just look bald. And of course, as you wear the lace, it loses hair after a while. So you don't want to over pluck, you just want to give it a nice little real look. So now I'm gonna go in. My next step will be to recolor the parts of the roots that dyed. You can't really see how the frontal is looking because the roots are kind of blonde. So I'm using this brow brush comb thing and a little bit of the black velvet dye from Adore to just re-dye the roots black or a dark color. The hair is actually dark brown, but I only have this black color. So I'm dyeing the roots back to a dark color because they were blonde from the bleaching. So this technique really helps because when you brush on a little bit of the dye on the roots, it really doesn't get on the lace. Of course, you do have to be careful, and this is sped up, so I move much slower than this, but it does help to get the color right on the hair instead of the lace. And as you can see, the hairline is looking way more pronounced. You can really see how it's looking once I've dyed the hair back black. Just because the blonde was kind of blending in with the lace, you could not really see where the hair began. So that's why I'm going back in with this. You don't really want to have blonde roots when you're wearing your hair. Like, that is such an amateur move. So yeah, this little tip really helps. So I'm kind of just showing you guys how much hair I plucked. When I did pluck that hair, it was like a handful of hair. It was a lot. So this is how it's looking when the roots are dyed black and it's fully plucked. As you can see, it looks so much different than what it did before I dyed the roots black, and you can really see how it's really looking. So that was the point of this. It's a necessary step sometimes you can avoid it, but I would prefer to do it when necessary. And so this is once I rinsed the hair out, rinsed the color out of the hair, and I slicked all of the hair back so I'm able to see the hairline, and I'm using Nairobi's foam wrap to brush all of the hair back and keep it in place. And then I'm going to go in with Sebastian's reshaper spray to make sure that the hair stays in place. So that is what I want to do. That's what you need to do to make sure that you have your hair prepped. And this is how the wig is looking after everything. The curls are looking decent. They did not look this decent in my hair. It was just giving me thin, short vibes. This is for my Cancun vacation. I really wanted long, curly hair like Ari, but I don't know if I just didn't buy the right length. They didn't give me the right length, but it was not giving that. And for some reason, the lace front was like way shorter than the rest of the hair, so it was like it wasn't even layered. It was like a gap. But anyway, this is how I did my cornrows, and this is how I'm prepping my hair for the installation. I used my hair butter to just coat my hair braids in it, just to keep it moisturized throughout the wear. And then I'm going with Ericka J Stuck On You hair gel to slick back my edges. And so once I've done that, I'm going in with some alcohol just to clean the oil and residue off of my hairline. I really want to use 90% alcohol, but I can't find it anywhere because of COVID. So I'm only using 70%, but if you can find 90, let me know where. And also try to use that instead of 70%. So I'm using this stocking cap that I got from CVS because the beauty supply store was closed and I couldn't get a real, actually it did come with a wig cap. I used this because I already had that and I just wanted to use it. And I hear these are thinner than the actual wig cap. So I'm using Got to Be Freeze Spray to spray down or seal down this wig cap. If you're going on a trip to Cancun like I did, I would suggest you use glue to hold down this wig cap because I did deal with some difficulties in the humidity of Mexico, but nonetheless this is an easier way to handle it. I would say it's very beginner friendly as opposed to using glue. So yeah, I'm just cutting it off and then I'm going in with this hairbrush leg color stuff to color the tone the wig cap. I would prefer to use this kind of did match me, but it really didn't. It was way more yellow, so it did kind of create some discrepancy, but it wasn't too obvious when I put on the wig. But next time I'll go in with a foundation that really matches my skin tone, and plus I tanned a little, so I'm a little darker than that. So I'm just fitting the wig on now. This is how it's looking. It really helps to slick back the hair. And then I'm just gonna go in and put the same color on the lace so that it's seamless. And so this is how it's looking. I'm just shaping it up and I'm gonna prepare to glue this bad boy on. So I'm also going to be using Ericka J's Hold Me Down Lace Adhesive. I'm going to be doing 2 layers of this and I'm going to let it dry completely before I add the second layer, and then I'm just going to spread it on with the side of a rat tail comb. So I spread about an inch wide diameter of the lace, and you want to make sure that you put it on nice and wide so it has a nice foundation to stick onto. And I did not do the sideburns because those are really tricky, so I want to make sure that the hair or the lace was in place before I found out where to glue it. So basically I'm just spreading this glue out really thin. I'm drying it clear before I add the second layer. I'm drying that clear, and then I will proceed to glue on the lace. Okay, now you want to glue the hair you want to glue the lace front in the place that you actually want the hairline to lie and not according to the glue. So I'm gluing it where I see, that there's no more lace cap. There's, just where I want the regular hairline to go. I did put one side a little bit further than the other, but I'll fix that later on. So yeah, I'm placing it in order, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the ear tabs just to make sure that they're down too. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna do 2 layers of that, and then I'm gonna glue down the sides and then proceed to hold down the lace. So I'm using this elastic band that I got off Amazon. I let it sit on there for about 10-15 minutes. I took it off. Now I'm about to go ahead and start cutting the lace. I use a razor with this, an eyebrow razor with this, and I'm sorry I was not in camera focus for this part because I just really had to get really close. My advice for this part is to really take this slow. You want to take every step of the wig installation slow, because if you move too fast and you're still a beginner or some sort, you kind of just are prone to making mistakes that you didn't even know you were, privy to. So you want to just move really slow to just make sure that you do every step correctly. So I really had to slow down with this part to make sure that I didn't cut too much of the lace off, because one problem I really always have is I will cut too much of the lace off and then I'll still have some glue on my forehead that isn't glued down or covered by lace, and then it just makes the lace front look so bad. So you want to make sure that you have no glue parts exposed, if that makes sense. Like, you don't want to have glue in front of your hairline because it's really hard to remove it, and then it makes the lace front like not last at all. So you want to make sure that you have all of the glue under or behind the lace, all overall under the lace. And you don't want to have any glue in front of the hairline. Like, you want to make sure every part that's glued, that there's a lace piece in front of it. So yeah, that's why it's really important for the placement of where you put your ball cap and then where you put the glue, because you want to put it behind where you want the actual hair to be, or at least right under it. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm going in and I pulled out all of the baby hair sections that I want. Once you pull out the baby hairs, the hair starts looking really, really realistic. It all depends on the color of the lace. If the color of the lace matches your skin, it's a done deal. It's a wrap. You've done a great job. If the lace kind of doesn't, it's going to be a little bit obvious. But once you pull out the baby hair sections and you start molding them down, it starts giving it a more realistic vibe. I really don't want baby hairs covering the entire hairline, but I do want them to look realistic as to how I would normally do my baby hairs, so that it just gives a realistic vibe. So I'm just using a little bit of the whole spray to separate the hairline from the baby hairs, and then I'm going to hold the baby hairs down in place with the elastic band for about 10 minutes, just to make sure that they're trained to go in that direction, and then I'll be back. So this is how it's looking once I've laid it down. It's looking kind of real. I'm really proud of it, and I'm just going to go in and tweeze a little bit more. You want to tweeze the baby hairs and the hairline to a natural look. It's better to tweeze on your head because you get the real feel of how it's supposed to look, and you're able to tweeze right in place on your head compared to your actual hairline. So I'm just going to tweeze a little bit of the baby hairs because they're a little thick, and I'm using the sharp end of the tweezers to make sure I get a defined tweeze done. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and that's pretty much it, guys. From here on out, I'm just gonna do my baby hairs with some foam wrap, and I did this kind of off camera because I am really still learning, how to properly lay my baby hairs. I can't do them in a sufficient amount of time on camera, so I just had to do this off of camera. But I'm showing you guys just roughly how I get this done. So I just kind of spray a little Nairobi on my hairline, and I'm just going to slightly swoop it back with the comb part of the edge brush, and just lay it down in place. And then I'm going to go ahead with the elastic band again to hold them down, and then they're pretty much done. And then you kind of I spent some time on this in the mirror just to get them exactly how I liked it. But this is how the outcome is looking, guys. I was giving real scalp. The first video was no filter. This is how it's looking once I play with the baby hairs a little bit more. And it's giving real curly girl vibes. Like, I was really, really proud of how I did this lace front. The hair was a little subpar, but what I'm doing is practicing with the lace. So regardless of how the hair actually looks, as long as the lace looks good, because that's what I'm working on and trying to perfect, that's all that matters. And it's really giving really baby girl sweetie vibes. So I was really proud of this. I really hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I plan to be doing more wig makeovers on my channel, so I have another one coming up with long black hair, so stay tuned for that. Please give this video a thumbs up, comment your favorite part, and subscribe to my channel because I have a lot more content coming for you guys. And join the team. I really hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you guys. Bye.